Yeah, no, me. Hmm. Hello and happy new year. Oh my God, we are now in the new year. Like this past year has just flown by. I remember when Halloween came around, and that's always like my marker. It's like Halloween is back and what is happening? So, in this video today, we're actually into January already, and I notice a lot of these videos coming out at the very beginning of December. And honestly, at the very beginning of December, I feel like I'm trying to just get the holidays in order. And so I really like to stop and reflect in the moments kind of after Christmas all the way up into the new year, and then just kind of slowly get into my new routine in the new year. Now, this doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to start on January 1st, but I'm here to share with you that if you haven't started kind of like reflecting and thinking about what you want in the new year, that's okay. We can slowly kind of dive into that together. And we're going to talk about kind of how to reflect on the past year. We're going to talk about how you can create some goals and what my goals actually look like if you want to kind of go with my version of goals. And then we're going to do a little bit of planning and also create a vision board. I can show you how to create a vision board that's really simple and easy. And honestly, just doing that really helps with your goals so much, to really just sit down and do that. So we're going to talk about so much today. If you are wanting to get motivated for this next 365 days, well, a little bit less than that now because we're already in the new year, but that's okay. Then you want to keep watching. Now, there's a lot of people that actually don't like to create goals for their new year because they feel like it adds a lot of pressure. But guess what? You get to do it your own way. So if you feel like it adds a lot of pressure, then let's do it the way that doesn't add a lot of pressure. Because really trying to use this fresh start as a way for you to tackle some goals is super important. Getting clarity as to what you want your life to look like and kind of improving a little bit, one and improving like 1% every single day is so healthy for you, especially if you find yourself as a person who deals with like depression and anxiety like me. Then it's really important to kind of stay on that positive note and really have something to strive for. I feel like all of my life, for the most part, I've had something to strive for, whether it be just like making it through school and then graduating college and then getting my home, having children, starting my career, things like that. So sometimes we just really need something to strive for. And I think that's really important when it comes to starting a new year. So the first thing that I like to do when it comes to kind of getting ready for a new year is reflect on the past year. And so I've went ahead and answered some questions, and I was able to see kind of like what I did last year and what I focused all of my energy on. And okay, fix that brightness because I was totally washed out. This feels better to me. So, so let's start over. Just kidding. We're not going to start over because we're working on perfectionism. So you want to kind of reflect on what your biggest wins were. You want to reflect on the things that you face, like the challenges that you faced and what you learned from those challenges. And just by reflecting a little bit on that, I actually did this on my phone in the car one day. Didn't have to be anything crazy. I just went ahead and reflected on last year, and I was able to see that while I did accomplish some of my goals, I wasn't like consistent with them as far as making them into a lifestyle. I also feel like I didn't focus on the right goals. And so that was just really good for me to kind of see where I was in what I focused on for the year last year, so I can kind of shift my focus this year. So, and to be honest, just a little tip, ChatGPT has helped me to kind of really create my goals and kind of do all of that. So if you don't know what ChatGPT is, this is not sponsored by ChatGPT. Are you kidding me? But essentially, you could just, it's AI. So you go on there and say, give me some reflection questions for last year. And you can even make it as specific as you want to. And then you just go ahead and answer the questions. That's exactly what I did. As well as when I was kind of creating my goals, I did something very similar. So before we jump into that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what goals can look like for you and what they look like for me. Now, there's different types of goals in my opinion. I think there's some that you kind of have a very end goal in sight and you're like, this is very specific. I want to make $100,000 a year by the end of the year. And there has to be milestones and action steps in between to get to that. And those can be little tiny goals along the way, which is great, right? And then there's other goals that are kind of like, I just really want to create a healthy lifestyle. And this is something that you want to continue on in your life. And so a lot of my goals this year are very much like that. They're very much lifestyle goals. And so I kind of want you to keep that in mind when you're creating your goals. Keep in mind that there's going to be some that do have an end goal and you can measure really, really well. I think people get the misconception that you cannot create goals that kind of don't really necessarily have, that can't necessarily be measured in like the formal sense. And I'll give you an example. So if you want to be somebody who works out often, but you know that to create that lifestyle change, you can't say like for the rest of the year, I'm only going to work out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now you can, but life really does get in the way sometimes. And so you kind of want to be a person that says, I am going to create a lifestyle where I am active, and give yourself all of these options and ways to be active and all of these days that you can be active, and just make sure that you are keeping up with that. So you're kind of tracking how that's going and you're able to see that you are doing that and you are doing those things that you want to do. However, there's not like, oh, by the end of the year, I'm going to have 100 exercises under my belt. While that's fantastic, I think that that kind of takes away from making a lifestyle change. And so when I talk about goals, I like to talk about them in like lifestyle changes so that they stick a little bit longer. Sometimes when we do things like, I want to run a marathon, you know, we train for the marathon, we run the marathon, and then we never run again. But I think that if you want to be a runner, you know, for your life, then you can say one of those milestones within becoming a runner can be running a marathon. And then that's not really your end goal. That's just kind of like a measure of your goal. And so when you're thinking about this, think about, do you want to have specific goals or do you want to have lifestyle goals? Now, they can be both. Like, for example, maybe one of your goals this year is to travel and you want to travel to a specific place. And in order to reach that goal, you need to save money to get there. Now, there's two things you can do there. You can just create that goal and then create those little milestones, and then you'll get to the end point, right? You would have achieved that goal. Or you can be somebody that travels often. And so you create a lifestyle where you save for your travel and you can travel more often than just kind of check that off your bucket list and be done with it. So I just kind of wanted to make that clear going forward into some of the goals that I created and some of the ways that you can take the pressure off of either reaching a goal or not reaching a goal. So what I did to actually kind of formulate how I wanted to create my goals or my lifestyle changes this year is I went into ChatGPT quite literally, and I wrote down like the kind of person that I wanted to be. I wrote down like what I wanted to achieve and what I wanted my life to look like. So, you know, I wanted to be somebody who exercised often. I wanted to be somebody who lived a healthy lifestyle, ate clean, worked on things that I loved, had hobbies that I loved. And literally, I asked ChatGPT to create me some goals with, you know, the things that the person that I wanted to become. And it really did. Like, it's like, well, these might be some goals that you might be interested in achieving. And here are some like milestones. Here's some quarterly check-ins that you can, you know, you can do to make sure that you're on that track. And this is how you can do it gradually. And really, you can go as far as you want to with those goals. It's really, really neat. And that really helped me kind of tone down kind of like what I wanted to do and like narrow in what I wanted to do. So I highly, highly recommend that. And then from there, once I kind of had an idea as to what I wanted this next year to look like, I went ahead and created a vision board. Now, I'm being really honest with you when I say, doing what I did before and kind of just like writing down my goals was fantastic. But when I sat down to actually do my vision board and I really decided what I wanted my life to look like in this 8.5 or 8x10 paper, I was able to hone down on and narrow down specifically what I was looking for. So on my vision board, I'm going to look up here because I have it on my wall right now. On my vision board, I have things like healthy foods that I can look at. I have something there that refers to routine because I really want to have routines in my life. I have something there where somebody is journaling because I want to be somebody who reflects and journals. And this specific picture is with somebody who is sitting like at a coffee shop outside, which is another one of my things that I love to do, is to go to coffee shops and spend time alone. I have books on my vision board because I want to read more books this year. I have a picnic because I want to get outside and do things like that this year. I want to be outside in nature and take my kids on picnics and just be outdoors. I think that's something I really need. That's what I threw on there. I threw a airplane picture of New York because, oh my God, I would love to just visit New York next year. I don't know how it's going to happen, but if it's on my vision board, maybe I can manifest that because I love New York so much. And I have some things up there that I know I can focus on, and it's not a crazy list. It's really just a few things that I really want to be intentional about this year, and I can look up at it and I can be like, okay, like, what am I doing? Have I started my routines? Like, have I even bothered to do a picnic outside or whatever it might be? And have I gone outdoors? So vision boards to me really, as a visual person, make it all come to life and make it all come together. And it doesn't have to be crazy. I just went on Canva and I just went on Pinterest and I just kind of looked for things that I liked and created a collage, printed it out. I had like an old picture frame that was just sitting around with like something in there I didn't really care for. And yeah, I put it in there and now it's up in my office. So I'm excited about that. So, if you are a business owner, I would suggest kind of creating something also for your business. And I also did one for that, which is a little bit personal because it's just personal, but it's more like a manifestation board. Now, when I say manifestation, I'm kind of dipping into that a little bit this year. I feel like I've done it my whole life where I've kind of had these visions and for myself and I've kind of manifested those things. I remember it's so crazy. Back in like 2015-ish, I want to say, I wrote a list down and I wish I had a picture of this list back in my old planner. I wrote a list down that said, start a small business. It said, visit Venice, visit Rome, visit New York. There were some other things. It was mostly travel related, but this was in 2015. And that year and then the next year prior, I don't know how or what in the world was going on, but I literally started my subscription box business. I went to Rome. I went to Europe. Like I went to Rome. I think it was also Italy and Venice. I went to Venice. I went to Florence, Italy. Went to Barcelona. Like that manifested itself just by me writing it down. And I don't know if it's your subconscious. I'm not super into law of attraction, but honestly, it came true. So what can I say? It happened. And so I highly suggest that you kind of just put it out to put it into existence, speak it out. And so that way you'll be a lot more likely to work towards. Okay, so now as far as setting up your planner, I think this goes hand in hand with the entire year and creating goals and making sure that you stick to them because your planner can be your tool for getting all of that done. So essentially what we're doing here is we're adding important dates. We're putting in like goals and milestones as to where you want to do these things or meet these expectations that you have for yourself. You can go ahead and put your vision board in your planner. You can go ahead and put these goals in your planner and put like a focus page in your planner. Like in what month would you like to see this happen? And what month would you like to see that happen? And we have the whole year to really work towards things. But if you do create like some deadlines or some tentative deadlines as to when you want to see something happen, that can really help you with your goal manifestation. And so for me, I'm going to do a little bit of that because hopefully this is a planner that I'm going to use throughout the entire year. And so I just want to be able to set up my planner so that not only do I have like all of my dates my important dates kind of mapped out, then I can focus in on, some of the goals that I do have. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going on vacation on this day. I would like to be able to be a little bit more fit for that vacation. So how can I work on these goals of getting fit? And what are these milestones that I need to reach in my planner so I can say, hey, I'm on track or hey, I'm not on track. If we're tracking certain goals, it's like, how are we going to do that? So, like in the monthly view, for example, if I want to put a little dot on the date when I am exercising during the month, and then I can see, wow, I exercise 2, 3, 4 times. Like, look at this spread. I have so many dots for exercising. So, there's definitely ways that you can go about, using your planner to track your goals and to be able to stay on top of your life intentions. And that's really the power of using a planner, I think. So let's end this video with talking about how to kind of start this year strong. And I want to keep a focus on easing into it, of course, and not just trying to add everything in at once. I'm telling you, if you try to,
new year, new me, exercise 5 times a week, and to put a YouTube video out, every single day, and you want to go picnic tomorrow, if you want to do a date night the next.
It's really just like not about packing everything into this beginning of the year, because think about it, you have the full year to really do all of these things. You just kind of have to like figure out where you're going to piece it in and what that looks like for you. You do have time. I think the people, or mostly what I see in myself and what I see in others, is those that try to pack everything into like that first month will really burn out by the time February comes. And it's like, oh my God, like
I cannot keep up with this.
and so keep that in mind when you're trying to implement these goals and these lifestyle changes, that you can do it little by little. Build momentum. I will say this so many times on my channel, wherever you find me, momentum is key. So if you go and walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes on the first day, don't think that that is not doing something, because it's absolutely doing something. Just the act of getting there and doing it is going to build momentum for the next time you go. So even if you're like, oh, I'm only going to do 5 minutes, do the 5 minutes. And then next time, do the 10 minutes. And then next time, do the 20 minutes. And that's how you get things going. You cannot read an entire book in one day. You need to do page by page. And so I want you to think of this year as like your entire chapter and your entire book. This is your 2025 novel. And what are you doing, in these pages that are helping you to kind of get to finishing the book? And along with that, I want you to also be very open to adjusting your goals and adjusting what that looks like. So I hope these tips help. I hope that talking about how to kind of reflect on last year, create some new goals, and kind of make that more of a visual thing for yourself as far as a vision board, and then also making that work in your planner really helped you in this video. And I hope that you have an amazing year. Honestly, you're so capable of anything you put your mind to. I know that we all have setbacks. I know that there's things that are kind of in the way. There's these hurdles and challenges that we have to overcome, but I definitely know that you can do that if you put your mind to it, I promise. And so if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. I cannot wait to share 2025 with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.